The All Blacks have already defended one long-standing historic record in a rugby stadium with a win against South Africa in the Rugby Championship at Eden Park earlier this year. But that was only a warm-up. That's only small fry compared to the 117-year unbeaten run of New Zealand against Scotland. That is the length of history of this fixture. And at no point in that 117 years have Scotland registered a single win. Is this the moment? They have some wildly brilliant players, Kinghorn, Russell, and the like, Tuipulotu. New Zealand are in a period of transition, rebuilding under Scott Robertson, and have some key men out. Could this be the moment that Scotland finally do it? I mean, probably not, but, they can hope. I'm going to go into the teams and see what Scotland's route to victory might be, look at the 23-man squads for both Scotland and the ABs, and I've got a combined 23-man squad as well to give a sense of what the balance of power is in this one. Let's start with Scotland. Let me know your thoughts in the chat down below. Give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and there is the Scotland team. And before I talk about the players that are in, let's talk about the players that are out, and an absolute hammer blow for Scotland is Zander Fagerson. He's out, and I don't think Scotland can replace Zander Fagerson. They have issues of depth generally because it's a small population, a small player pool. Zander Fagerson is one of those guys where the next best off the rank is some way back. And that's not being disrespectful to Darcy Ray. It's just to highlight how important a player Zander Fagerson is for Scotland, how good he is into his prime years, and up against New Zealand, you feel like they needed him. They do at least have Pierre Schoeman in the front row alongside Ewan Ashman. But when you look at Darcy Ray and Elliot Miller-Mills, the two tight head props for Scotland opposite Ethan de Groot and Tamaiti Williams, that instantly makes me a little bit nervous for Scotland. On the positive side, and also there's no Hugh Jones, who is out injured, of course. On the positive side, Kyle Steyn has been selected over Duhan van der Merwe. I'll come on to that. I think that's a really positive selection. And Rory Hutchinson has got himself a shot. The biggest game of his life, this game against the All Blacks. Because, these two things, as far as I'm aware, are always the case. When there's a big match and Duhan van der Merwe is available, he plays. He is not playing on this occasion. And when there is a big match, Rory Hutchinson never plays. He plays against the kind of tier 2 nations and the fringes. Well, yes, partly due to an injury to Hugh Jones, but nevertheless, there are other players that could have taken that spot, and Rory Hutchinson is in. I'm taking both of these as positive selections. Rory Hutchinson, a form pick. He's been playing brilliantly in the Premiership for Northampton. He is absolutely outstanding at what he's great at. He's just a smooth runner and an excellent distributor. So he reads the game really well. So I think this is a selection of someone that can do some damage in the outside channels, or potentially release the likes of Darcy Graham and Blair Kinghorn. And Scotland are going to need to score points. Now, with that in mind, you might think that the non-selection of Duhan van der Merwe could be a mistake. Kyle Steyn is a sort of more robust, solid winger. The guy can finish. But do you know what he will do? He'll be a massive part of the defensive effort of Scotland on both sides of the ball. Overall, I think Kyle Steyn is a better player than Duhan van der Merwe. I'm speaking as an Englishman. I've been there in Murrayfield and in Twickenham when Duhan van der Merwe has crushed my soul. I know just how amazing he is. I know what his highlight moments are. His highlight reel is probably better than any other winger. Just trying to think. Certainly in the UK and Ireland, Duhan van der Merwe has the best highlight reel of any winger. But he can go missing in games. And in big games that aren't England, he can go AWOL. Kyle Steyn is just so consistent. And if you've been watching the channel for a while, well, firstly, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Secondly, you'll have heard me say exactly this, that this is the wing partnership I want to see for Scotland. Darcy Graham, electric feet, brilliant finisher. Kyle Steyn, kick chase, defence, work rate, off his wing, energy, leadership as well is a massive one. I'm really delighted by that pick. Other than that, the backline selects itself. As for the pack, Interesting to see Gregor Brown at 6. That looks to me like Gregor Townsend is, well, probably two things. Going for size and line-out threat, I would suggest. Because, I mean, with that's a big back row. That's a big back 5 of the scrum. And maybe some of that extra tonnage in the back row is making up for the slight deficiencies you might worry that you have in the front row. Like, that could well be the case. Rory Darge is an absolutely class player. Josh Bayliss, really explosive as well. So it signals to me that there might be a shift in the way that Scotland play first half, second half, or first 60, last 20. You've got Brown. Yeah, in fact, what I think Scotland are going to do when I look at this, I think they're going to kick the ball off the park to not kind of let New Zealand settle into a rhythm. And they're probably going to kick the ball off the park and deep enough, maybe into the crowd, so that New Zealand can't take quick lineouts. And then they're going to, with Brown, Gilchrist and Cummings, and Dempsey as well, they're going to have a pop at New Zealand's lineout and try and cut off their ball at source, which would be one route to victory. Also, they've got some big bodies there. And actually, when you look at Lord and Holland, I'll come over to New Zealand in a minute, New Zealand are missing taller guys in their back row and experienced guys in their second row. So it could be a smart tactical choice from Scotland to go that way, and they can always change things up. And when you look at the bench, and I look at Rory Darge, Josh Bayliss, Jamie Doby, Tom Jordan, there's some firepower there. So do Scotland have a chance? Of course they have a chance. It's going to need to be one of those games where, a little bit like actually Ireland in Chicago 9 years ago in 2016. When I think back to that game, because obviously I was in Chicago at the weekend against New Zealand, Ireland managed to beat New Zealand on that day by basically taking every single one of the chances that they got. And I think that is what Scotland are going to have to do. But you've got to also limit New Zealand from scoring. So I think trying to cut off their ball at line out will be one of them. Yeah, can they do it? I don't know. Let's move over to New Zealand then. And this is Razor's team. This is Scott Robertson's team, isn't it? I mean, when you look at some of the names on that list in the pack, Holland, Satiti, Lakai. When you look in the back line, Tupaia, Carter. When you look on the bench, Tosi, Karifi, Dari, Ratima, Proctor. There's a whole bunch of players that are unrecognisable from the class of 2023. So I didn't think Scott Robertson had done enough turnover in his team through 2024, but I have to say through 2025 he is really turning the squad over, and this is all eyes on 2027. 2 years from now, I think New Zealand are tracking well. I don't understand the level of criticism that I see from New Zealand pundits and some fans towards Scott Robertson. Yes, they'll want to improve and that will be the plan. But then again, you know, my glass is always half empty. I was defending Steve Borthwick when it felt like every England fan said he should go and England are boring and it's rubbish and his selections. I could see what Steve Borthwick was doing and that England, with a very young team, were tracking in the right direction. And that's my perspective. Sitting here as an Englishman looking at New Zealand, I think they are tracking really well when I project forward to 2027. Some of these changes are enforced, of course, it's weird seeing only one Barrett in a squad, isn't it? But yeah, there we are. So Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor and Fletcher Newell, yes, I'll come to my combined team in a minute, but that's very good. Josh Lord and Fabian Holland, I thought they both did really well at the weekend in Chicago. Very impressed by Fabian Holland. I also thought Josh Lord, when he came on, did a really good job. Interesting composition in the back row. Like, Scotland have gone for big. They've gone for line-out threats. New Zealand have gone explosive. Pace and power, like, off the charts with Satiti, Savia and Lakai. And then Karifi off the bench as well. That is wild how explosive and attacking that is. And I do think that's going to have to be reflected. New Zealand are going to go for a lot more short lineouts. New Zealand, I think, are going to play a bit quicker. I don't think they should stray too far away from what they did at the weekend. They'll want to get better, and I think they will through the November series. Massive test against England, of course. They've got to tick Scotland off But I thought they did, particularly in that last half hour, that was the blueprint for New Zealand. Just run head down really hard, win that gain line, and then the space opens up on the edges. And New Zealand always have such fantastic skills, basic skills. It was really interesting watching their warm-up in Chicago. They spend so much of their warm-up just doing fundamental handling. And you see it on the field. They just execute when the chances are there. I'm so excited to see that centre partnership. Enforced by injury to Geordie Barrett, but Quintapaya and Leicester Fainga'a-Anuku. I was so impressed by Fainga'a-Anuku coming off the bench. I just thought he attracted so many defenders. Sorry, no, which one was off the bench? Yeah, it was Fainga'a-Anuku off the bench, wasn't it? Yes, it was last week. He came on at 12, but he's playing 13 at this time. But he just attracted so many defenders with his runs, big physical man, and then was able to offload out of contact as well. And any balls behind the gain line are deadly. And Tupea and Fainga'a-Anuku are both good distributors, real genuine gain line threat, ability to offload, and that's going to create opportunities for Caleb Clarke, Leroy Carter, Will Jordan. Will Jordan, by the way. I mean, Tom Jordan up against Will Jordan. That's a little storyline there. Like it. Will Jordan, only 5 tries in 2025. What's going on, Will? That's only 1 try every other game. An abysmal record by his standard. I mean, still a world-class record by anyone else's standards. How do Scotland win? I think I've already summed it up. They attack the line out, get the ball off the pitch so they can't play. New Zealand can't play fast, and take every single one of their chances. How do New Zealand win? Just execute. I think if New Zealand execute, they win. Probably lean into their advantage up front, maul it a little bit more, tire out the big Scottish forwards, and then let rip in the wide channels. I can't see past a New Zealand win. I can't see past a New Zealand win. Xander Fagerson's a hammer blow for Scotland. My combined team, just to emphasise that point, 2 Scots in the pack, 2 Scots in the back line, and 3 on the bench. Scotland have got good players, and they quite often can perform above the sum of their parts. So they'll have to hope that is the case. It's going to be good. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a brilliant Saturday. Very much looking forward to the matchups. There's my thoughts on Scotland, New Zealand. Let me know yours. I'm going to say New Zealand by 12. I'll see you on the next video.